2001, Houston, Texas. A quiet night, a quiet house, a quiet lie. She had given him everything, her trust, her home, her name, but the man she loved never existed. $40,000, 2 women, 1 man, 0 remorse. What she found in that drawer changed her life forever. This is her story. Her name was Sarah, a 34-year-old nurse living in Houston, Texas. By all accounts, she had built a good life for herself, a steady job, a comfortable home, and a man she believed was her future. His name was David. They met in the summer of 1999 at a mutual friends gathering. He was charming, well-dressed, confident. He told her he worked in real estate, buying and selling properties across Texas. He always had money, always had answers, always had a reason to be trusted. Within months, Sarah had fallen completely. She introduced him to her family, her friends, her world. He moved into her Houston home in early 2000. Life felt complete. She had no reason to doubt him. Not yet. David was the kind of man who made you feel safe. He remembered small things, her favorite coffee, the way she liked her eggs, the songs she played on Sunday mornings. He was present, attentive, warm. Sarah's mother loved him. Her best friend called him one of the good ones. And Sarah, she believed every single word. Because why wouldn't she? He had never given her a reason not to. Their relationship felt natural, easy, real. He talked about the future constantly. A bigger house, maybe a family, traveling together across the country. Sarah let herself dream. She let herself believe. And for a while, it was beautiful. But slowly, quietly, things began to shift. David would disappear for 2 or 3 days at a time. He always had an explanation. A property deal, a client meeting, a business trip. Sarah believed him, every single time. Then came the phone calls. Late at night, he would step outside to answer. Always a different number on the screen. When she asked, he would laugh it off. "Just work stuff, babe. You worry too much." She noticed his mail was always addressed to different names. Small things, easy to ignore when you love someone. But the signs were there, quietly screaming. And Sarah, exhausted from work, exhausted from overthinking, pushed the doubts away. She told herself she was being paranoid. She told herself she was lucky to have him. She told herself that love means trust. So she trusted, completely, blindly, dangerously, until the night she couldn't anymore. It was a Tuesday night in March 2001. David had left 2 days earlier for what he called a property inspection in Dallas. Sarah was home alone. The house was quiet, too quiet. She went to the bedroom to find a pen, a simple thing, a pen from the drawer. She opened the drawer on his side of the bed, and there it was, a folder, thick, stuffed with papers. She almost closed the drawer, almost, but something stopped her, a feeling, deep in her stomach. She pulled the folder out. Her eyes scanned the first page. A name, not David's name, a completely different name, but his photo. She blinked, read it again, same photo, different name. Her hands tightened around the papers. She flipped to the next page. Bank account statements, accounts she had never seen, never heard of, thousands of dollars moving in and out. She kept flipping. A letter, handwritten, signed with a woman's name, an address in Dallas. Her hands began to shake. Her heart began to race. She sat down on the edge of the bed, read the letter slowly, word by word. It was a love letter, written to David. But not the David she knew, written to a man with a different name, a different life, a different woman. Because in that moment, everything she thought she knew collapsed. Sarah spent that entire night going through every document in that folder. She did not sleep. She did not eat. She did not cry. Not yet. She just read, page after page, document after document, and with every page, the picture became clearer and more devastating. David was not his real name. He had been using a false identity for years, long before he ever met Sarah. He was simultaneously living with another woman in Dallas, a woman named Karen, Karen believed he was her long-term partner too. She had no idea about Sarah. Sarah had no idea about Karen. Two women, two homes, two completely different lives. And one man running both. He would spend weekdays with Sarah in Houston. Weekends and business trips were spent with Karen in Dallas. It had been going on for almost 2 years. But it didn't stop there. David had taken out loans under Sarah's name without her knowledge. He had used her personal information, her social security number, her credit, to secure over $40,000 in fraudulent financing. Money that went straight into his pocket, money that Sarah would later be held responsible for. Every business trip was a trip to his other life. Every late-night call was Karen, or someone else entirely. The real estate business did not exist. The money he flashed was borrowed or stolen. The future he promised, the house, the family, the travels, was nothing but words. Empty, calculated, cruel. Sarah had been living inside a carefully constructed lie, and she had never once suspected it. By the time morning came, Sarah had made her decision. She was not going to fall apart, not here, not for him. She gathered every document from that folder. She placed them neatly inside an envelope. She got dressed, slowly, deliberately, and she drove to the Houston Police Department. She walked in, sat down across from a detective, and she placed the envelope on the desk. "I think my partner has been living a double life," she said. "And I think he has been stealing from me for years." The detective opened the envelope. And within minutes, the investigation had begun. Investigators immediately began cross-referencing the documents. The false identity was confirmed within hours. The bank accounts were flagged. The loans taken under Sarah's name were traced back to David. Within 48 hours, they had connected David to the Dallas address. They contacted Karen directly. Karen answered the door expecting David. She got 2 police officers instead. She was equally devastated, equally deceived, equally destroyed. 2 women who had never met, now connected by the same lie. David was located at a motel outside Dallas 3 days later. He was arrested without resistance. He said nothing when they put the handcuffs on, no explanation, no apology, nothing, just silence. He was charged with fraud, identity theft, and financial deception. In 2003, he was convicted on all counts, sentenced to 6 years in federal prison. Sarah spent the next 2 years rebuilding her credit, her finances, and her life. Karen did the same. 2 women, both betrayed, both survivors, both stronger than the man who tried to break them. Sarah never saw David again after that night she found the folder. She said years later, "The hardest part wasn't the money. It was realizing the person I loved never really existed. I grieved someone who was never real. And that is the strangest kind of loss." David served his time. But the damage he left behind took years to undo. The sleepless nights, the trust issues, the fear of loving again, those things don't come with a sentence. They don't have an end date. They just stay, quietly, like a shadow. This was not a unique case. Across America, thousands of people fall victim to identity fraud and emotional deception every single year. Most of them never see it coming, because the people who do this, they are good at it. They are practiced, patient, calculating. They choose their targets carefully. They build trust slowly. And by the time you realize what happened, they are already gone. The signs are always there, hidden in plain sight. A name on an envelope that doesn't match. A phone call taken outside at midnight. A drawer that was never meant to be opened. Pay attention to the small things. Because the small things, they are never really small. If this story moved you, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Dark Chapters US, because there are many more chapters left to uncover, and none of them are easy to read.